Welcome back, everyone. It's good to see you all. Let's talk about the topic that no one wants to talk about. Two topics, really, but mainly one. It was mentioned in the comments of a video I did a few weeks ago, gear that kayakers need. Let's talk about these two things real quick. Let's go. Okay, good to see you all. Welcome back. This came up in the gear kayakers, new kayakers need, and I broke that into two sections, one for recreational/fishing paddlers and one for touring kayakers or sea kayakers. And in general, people like that list. However, there were a handful of comments. One said you should have included navigation for the touring kayakers and even include it for the recreational kayakers if they're kayaking in the ocean. There was a small chain of comments after that, and then someone said that really it should become like a risk management thing. My response to that was, I would love to talk about navigation. I would love to talk about risk management. Those are two things that I really actually find interesting and really enjoy, and no one wants to talk about them. I need to stress the comments were regular commenters, people I respect, people who are always here. I really appreciate that. And their points are not lost. I agree. I did say that navigation is included in the 10 essentials list that I created, which was linked in that video so they could get to it. But this was really supposed to be just the gear that you need to get started. I bought a kayak. What do I need now to get going? I enjoy almost nothing as much as navigation, and I talk about it occasionally on the channel, and no one watches those videos. No one. Like, they get like 300 views compared to like 1,000 views. In my world, that's no one. I also really enjoy talking about risk management. Risk management is the single most important thing that we should be learning as new paddlers, whether we're recreational paddlers or sea kayakers, touring kayakers, and really no one wants to talk about it. If you go to YouTube and do a search for kayaking risk management, you will find 4 videos that really talk about it, and 3 of them are mine, and they've got almost no views. They're several years old. I think the one with the most views is at like 1,500 views. No one wants to talk about this stuff, and it's incredibly important. 100% of fatalities in kayaks are because of poor risk management. 80+% of fatalities in kayaks are people not wearing a PFD, and that is a failure of risk management. Risk management is one of those things that is kind of hard to teach in this venue. It is much easier to teach on the water, but when you go to take a paddling lesson, it's not really talked about. It takes a lot of experience and debriefing and having that ability to sort of look at a situation and break down, hey, what just happened, what might have just happened in terms of risk.
I think I said after we got here that it was the equivalent of summit fever. Like, we saw the weather. We knew we were paddling in rain. In retrospect,
we should have stayed in the vans and done day trips.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I've decided the prudent thing is to start descending. Weather is also deteriorating, but I don't think it's going to rain or anything. It's just I'm in the clouds, there's no visibility, but my knee is hurting pretty bad. It hurts worse going down, but I think I'd rather descend now than hike another 4 or 5 miles and descend. So 3.7 miles down, about 3,000, 4,000 feet, something like that. I think it's going to take me about 4 hours. One of the videos that I did 4 years ago, I just rewatched it, talked about safety third. Almost no views. Safety third is the concept that we are responsible for our own safety. Like, as opposed to safety first, you can't do something that is inherently dangerous and say safety first, because if you were doing safety first, you wouldn't be doing the thing that is inherently dangerous. That's why it's safety third. A lot of people, I think, just think that's a joke. Like, hey, let's go out and like do something crazy. That's not what it means. So these are topics that I think are super important, and I love to talk about them. And I do talk about them when I do private lessons with people. We talk about, like, when I'm paddling along with someone in beautiful conditions and all of a sudden the wind changes, I'll say to the person I'm paddling with, hey, what just changed? Did you notice what just changed? And see if they pick up on it. I think that's a really important skill to have. I sell a risk management chart on Coffee. Links are down below. I'm actually in the process of updating it. It's $1. I've sold 23 copies of it. That is nothing when I'm getting 30-something thousand views a month. People either don't understand why risk management is important, or don't understand really what it means and entails, or simply don't care. And that's something that we really need to break down. Like, I don't want to be in a situation where all we talk about is risk, but the less people think about it and the less people are proactive about it, the more we have to talk about risk. I would much rather be talking about other stuff, except that it's important and no one is having the conversation. If you have questions about risk management, if you have questions about the risk management chart, if you have questions about why it's important, put them down below. I created this video based on that comment from another video. Thank you, Kevin, for starting that chain. I guess I haven't found the right method for talking about it in this venue, and that maybe that's what we need to change. But I think it's important, and when we have problems, that's where it's coming from. That's a failure of risk management. And I see it every day. I see paddlers out in conditions they shouldn't be in, with boats they shouldn't be in, without safety gear they should have. And it's because we don't think about it, right? The paddling world is inherently more dangerous than like the hiking world. When the weather goes bad when you're hiking, you turn around and you hike off the trail. When the weather gets bad for us, sometimes we can't get off the water. Okay, super quick one today. I just wanted to sort of plant this seed, see what people thought. I'm really interested in what you think and what your feedback is and how we can do this and make that conversation more workable is something I would like to do. Cool. All right. Do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe, hit hype. I have no idea if the hype button actually does anything. And I'll see you outside.